Well, hello. Hello, it's me. This is not very planned out at all. In fact, I tried to do a live in my women's Facebook group yesterday, and I guess since I had on my headphones, I was like blah 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 blah, and then as soon as I took off my headphones, I thought they were turned off, but they weren't. And so the live didn't go through, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I had such a good message." And then today I went to like, okay, we're going to redo this live, and the Wi-Fi cut out. And so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have a message that I want to give to my women's group, but actually I think that all of you would love this message. So, I don't know. You might not. But I have been thinking of you so much, and I just want to say, I guess I want to say thank you so much for giving me time and space to adjust to my new life. I think that you can definitely relate to this, that you will understand, I think, because if you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness and you've left the religion, it's kind of like everything that you ever knew, everything that was just like your whole reality, like everything got shattered. It was completely destroyed. Kind of like, what is this? Like, how do I even go on? What are you talking about? There's no paradise, and maybe this life is the only life, right? Like every single plan that we had made our whole life was just blown up, obliterated. And so for me, I have felt like that recently, and I know I've talked about it, here and there in pieces, um, but a week before Christmas, my boyfriend did break up with me, and that was a blow. It really was. It was a real, it was a shock to me. And so all of these plans that we had made together in the 4 years that we were together, everything just sort of, it blew up, because like all my plans, right? So this summer I'm gonna be 50, and when you get to like that middle part of your life, maybe even the quarter part of your life, it's like you really reflect and think, what am I doing? Where am I going? And to go through something like that is really comparable, I think, to leaving the religion and having your complete reality just a whole shift. It's like what we were going this way, and now it's like, now we're here. And so then I had a few other little, well, they're kind of big things happen in my life, and I've talked about a few of those on here. But then I've also noticed that it doesn't matter what I say. Like, I could write you a book. I could maybe write 10 books. And I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter how much I say or how much I write or how much I talk about things. There's just some things that people aren't going to understand. And it's okay. Because I had this thought just a few days ago. It was when I was really in this deep prayer and my writing and then my praying. And I just sort of had this feeling come over me like, I'm alone. I'm so alone. I'm alone. I kept thinking that, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm a life coach. I know that is a freaking lie. That is such a lie. I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. But it takes me to reach out, right? I have to be the one to not expect for people to call and check in on me if they don't even really know what's going on. I can do a Facebook Live anytime that will connect me. I can come on YouTube and film a video or or do a live on YouTube, right? I can call my family. I can call a friend. I'm not really alone. But my brain just wanted to tell me, you're alone, you're alone. And it made me sort of panicky. You know, it made me sort of like, oh, I'm alone, kind of scared. But it's just, it's not true. So that's been something for me to realize. And so thank you for being patient with me. You know, I haven't been here as much as I would like to be, because sometimes I think, well, what am I going to say? I don't know what to say, because sometimes it feels like now, because I've really exposed myself, that everybody has an opinion and people can read into things, you know. Oh, well, then she said this one thing and then this, and I've just kind of realized that not everybody is going to understand, no matter how well I try to explain it. And not everybody is going to be happy with whatever I say, even though it really is just coming from a very genuine place in my heart. And it's coming from a place of, like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. You know, I'm just sort of talking about my feelings and trying to relate to you, because I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way sometimes and has had to restart their life, even though that wasn't the plan. So in my women's group, what we were talking about is, this whole month we're talking about believing in new things. And do you know what it takes to form a belief? Forming a belief, or what could be considered a truth, is going to be a thought that you keep repeating, or is somehow repeated to you over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, when it's said so many times, you are going to believe it. It's going to become something that you really believe. And so what I was comparing that to was, do you remember? This is so funny. Okay, anybody that's watching this video that's not, was never a witness, or, you know, doesn't have any connection to it at all, this might seem kind of funny to you. But we believed as witnesses that we were going to live forever. Forever. All we had to do was do things Jehovah's way, which now we know that that was the governing body's way. It's 11 guys in New York sort of making up the rules, saying, oh, we know exactly, we have this connection with God, and so we're going to tell you what to do. Okay, as long as we did all of those things, we could feel really good about, if Armageddon comes, that we are, we're going to be basically saved. We never said saved, but we would say, you know, that God writes in the book of life. And so if you're doing right, because the only right religion was Jehovah's Witnesses. This is something they believe, even though there's nothing in the Bible that says Jehovah's Witnesses will blah, blah, blah. So they kind of went through this roundabout way of saying that, well, we do this and we do that and we do that. And we do all these things that God wants us to do. In fact, you know, they read so deep into something. Anyways, they read so deep into some things that it's like it was very obscure. So if you did all of those things, you were going to live forever in paradise. And there was a couple of scriptures, I don't know them off the top of my head, but you will be with me in paradise. Do you remember Jesus saying that? Okay. And maybe there's a couple of other ones about talking about, you know, this idea that they had. But basically, here's the thing. It was all so made up, because off of a couple of teeny tiny scriptures, teeny tiny, with not a lot of description, they would come up with these just crazy, like, pictures. They would have pictures of, like, little kids playing with panda bears and tigers, and they had pictures of old people being resurrected, and people that were getting up out of their wheelchairs and walking, you know. And we were raised to really, really believe this. Okay, if you were a witness, maybe you can put in the comments, what kind of pet did you want when you were in paradise? Like, did you want a panda? did you want a tiger? I always thought it would be kind of cool to have a tiger because I like cats, and then it would just be like a big humongous cat. It's so funny now looking back because there's nothing in the Bible that talks anything about this, but we really believed it. Oh, we believed it. And it was brought up all the time in conversations with other Jehovah's Witnesses, at the meetings, if we went out in service in car groups, it was always like front and center. Like this paradise was like, it was so real because we talked about it all the freaking time. But if you look in the Bible, like none of those pictures that were in the publications, there's nothing in the Bible really going into that much detail. And at that percentage of, what do you call it? Just concentration or intention. We were very focused on this paradise that there wasn't much description. And so what I was talking about in the women's group was like believing in new things. Like, you guys, we're so good at this. We are so good as ex-witnesses and just being completely delusional. It's sort of like we have it in us. This could be looked at as a good thing or a bad thing. I think that it's sort of a superpower. And I have a whole list of superpowers that I wanted to talk about, and we will one by one, but this is one of them. Having this very creative imagination, like a big imagination of, what paradise would look like and how it was going to be so green and so perfect. Now they do like AI art. It's so fake. It's so fake. But they would just have so much of this, really making you believe because you just saw it all the time. Well, what would happen to you if you decided you wanted to believe in something new? And I'm not saying paradise, but something that you want to believe now that you're outside of the religion, even for me, outside of really having sort of a life earthquake where it's like, oh my gosh, where am I going from here? Everything has been pulled out from under me, and I'm having to reevaluate my whole life and make new plans and decide new things. So what is it that I want to believe about my life going forward? And I believe that maybe you're in the same position, as ex-witnesses. Maybe it's not all going to come all at once, right? It's not like, okay, I was a witness and now I'm not, and now I'm just going to figure it out. Like, it's going to take time. For me, as soon as I left the witnesses in 2019, I got right into a relationship. And so that was sort of like, it was a big change. But now, like taking a step back from that, at this time that I've had to myself to really reflect and see how I'm going to go forward has been really good for me. So I just want to tell you thank you for that again. Like, thank you so much for being patient with me, because it has been really difficult, actually. And I think that the work that I do in the women's group and the way that we talk and we have these calls, and every twice a month we have a group call together and we talk about all sorts of things. In fact, I'm in the group every day except for Sunday. So it's like a really good reminder for me too. I can believe in new things. What is it that I want to believe about my life? I want to believe that I am extremely capable. I'm very capable. I'm not alone. So I have to keep repeating that. You are not alone. You're not alone. And keep proving it to myself by putting myself out there, by talking to people, calling up friends, those kind of things. And that is it will reinforce it in me. But what is it that you want to believe about you and your life as an ex-witness? Or even if you're on this channel and let's just say you're kind of starting over, what is it you want to believe? Because let me tell you what, you can believe anything that you want. Anything you want. Okay, because you're going to have this belief and then it's going to create a feeling. And when you get that feeling, then you're going to react on that feeling. You're going to do something. You're not going to do something. Things are really going to start taking momentum and taking shape in your life. And then from that thought, like say for me, like if I say, I'm not alone, and I really believe that, because that's key. You have to believe it, right? If you don't believe it, it's not going to work. But if I'm believing I'm not alone, and then I get the proof, then it's like, what's my result in my life? I'm really not alone. I'm not alone. So, and not only that, that's just one thing, right? I have to prove to myself that I'm not alone and that I'm very capable. I've always been capable. I've had a few people remind me of that lately. A friend of mine, they said, because I kind of explained a situation, and they're like, what? That doesn't even sound like the Elle that I know. I'm like, I know. That's so weird. Why is it that I think that? That is so not in line with my character at all. So I had to kind of like think about it, but it's fun when you talk to friends. And really, they can give you so much insight to yourself. The good ones will tell you. You know, the mediocre friends, they'll sort of just agree with everything that you say. But really good friends will really point things out and help you. So, thanks for being here today. I'm supposed to be taking a nap, but it's very hard to sleep during the day. So I said, you know what? I was doing a live here and that didn't work. So I'm like, I'm going to get on Facebook, or I'm not on Facebook, on YouTube, and I'm going to talk to the YouTube people and tell me, what do you think about this idea of believing in new things? You know, if you could believe in anything, what would it be? Okay? It doesn't matter if it's just completely delusional, because listen, we did that. We're very capable of that. So what is it that you want to believe now? And that doesn't mean that you're, that it can't come true, you know? It's like, this is real, actual stuff that can happen in our life. But if we don't believe it, and if we don't have that sort of, it's almost like an aura, you know? It's like our sort of, like we're, you know, our body, our person is one thing, but like our beliefs are sort of like, they're just like all around us. It's like this thing that we believe. And I just encourage you to try to believe new things, because it's really going to get you where you want to go. Yeah. I had to take that old belief, you're alone. I'm like, no, you are not alone. That's not even true. So, yeah. Until you realize it though, until you're really tapped into what's going on in your mind, it's, your brain can just have you tumbleweeding around and you're like, well, I don't know. You know, until it's like, wait a second, what am I thinking and why am I thinking that? Why am I thinking a lie? Right? But, all right, now I feel like I'm going in circles, so I'm gonna let you go. But have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. Thanks for the people that watch that just don't even get me at all. And yeah, it's been tough being criticized constantly. Oh my gosh. I'm like, wow, we got a lot of opinions, people. I knew the JWs were going to be upset with me, but anyway. All right. Have a lovely day. Bye, everyone.